All right, guys, what is going on? Welcome to the live stream. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Let me know what you did in the chat this weekend. I'd love to know. I want to know, chat. I want to know. I read a little bit more of... Here, I'll show you. I read a little bit more of Philosopher's Mental Models by Peter Hollins. So this one's okay. It's not as great as I thought it would be. I'm a little over halfway. I am gonna finish that one, but I did have higher hopes. Chat. This one was unexpectedly better than I thought. At least it is so far. Let's see. I'm 103 pages in, about a 400-page book called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Zevin. Gabrielle Zevin. This one's pretty good. And usually books are not funny. This one is hilarious. And if you're a gamer or maybe a programmer, I think you'd like this one. And it's very well written. Some of the older stuff is... the English is not the greatest, but in this one, I see why it has really good reviews. So I've been enjoying that one. What's good? Jorks, Naruto, Eberneth, Mark, Marshall, Roger, Torty, Willow, Scott, Sean, Adam, Lewis. Torty said, spent time with my wife and my kids. Love to hear that. Love to see it. Eric was studying and chilling. Is what I think you meant to say there. Very good. Scott said, study, reading, football with the boys, getting ready for wrestling season. Very good. I should be more active myself, personally. Marshall said, decorating. Nice. What's good? Jordan D. What's good? Mason, Yuso, Patch. Daily Walk, Red did a little bit of work that I got overpaid for. Grateful. And spent time with my family. Look at that. Lots of winning in the chat today. Taking care of a newborn. Willow, very nice. Dad activities. Patch said I was getting fooled by AI Mark Douglas audios. Hey, it's all good. It's all good. I know how he talks. I know how Paula Webb talks. I know how they sound. And I know how they write. And now, 5 seconds in, I was immediately like, yeah, this is not either one, though. What's good, Juan? I've been looking into the food industry, bro. It makes me not want to eat anymore. Oh, yeah. You're learning how the sausage is made, huh? Oh, yeah. You'll never look at the grocery store the same. What's good, Junior? Look, it's probably going to be a short stream today. I don't have a lot for you. I don't have a lot. I want to share a couple things with you. So, as you know, earlier this year, especially with Intel, right? We've been following Intel for, I mean, even since like IM Academy days, we've been following Intel. And they have severely underperformed like the chip market. They've been completely crushed by Nvidia and other AI chip producing companies, you know, and all that relation. So earlier this year, a couple months ago, or that might have been last month, but whatever, very recently, the United States government has taken between a 9 to 10% stake in Intel. So stuff like this, even for me, is new territory. I don't remember a time in the last 11 years that I ever really paid attention to the government buying stock in private companies. Okay, it could be, you know, a morally gray area. There could be some, you know, uncertainty around that. So, although I've had Intel since like down in here somewhere, and again, Uncle Sam bought some stock into this, 1/10 of the damn company. It makes me very interested in this stuff, and it makes me very interested in what the performance is going to be, because a lot of this speculation is, oh, well, if the government owns a piece of it, they won't let it fail, right? Which is the, same logic that I came to as well. The government, I doubt, even though they do throw a lot away of money and are very wasteful, I don't think they would, try to do that for something like this. So over the last few weeks or so, there has been more reports of the government buying stock in other companies as well, like LAC, Lithium Americas Corp. What caught my attention was the one from last week, and I'm pretty sure I told you about it. It was TMQ. So TMQ, Trilogy Metals Inc. And I think I read you a little bit of that article about it. And so what I think is happening, again, I could be wrong, and I don't believe in it, but I mean, excuse me, it's not that I don't believe in it, but like fundamentals are very hard to follow and like hard to, for me at least, hard to predict accurately, because fundamentally there's so many things that have to happen. There's so many things that could go wrong, right? But from a very macro perspective, what it looks like is the government is investing in basically the AI sector. So they're purchasing parts of Intel, they're purchasing parts of Trilogy Markets and some of these other companies, LAC, and I think they're trying to, stay in the race of chips and AI and that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? I'm probably not the best at explaining it, but it's like you have one company or a couple companies that are going to produce, chips. You're going to have other companies that focus on, like this one, gathering the materials to build this shit, right? You don't have just one company that owns the entire chain. Like, oh, we're going to explore and we're going to dig the shit up and we're going to move it to these facilities. Then we're going to produce the, all this shit. And then we're going to go and put it in the computers and then sell that too. It's like a chain of companies. Does that make sense, chat? Drop some ones in the chat if that makes sense to you. Again, I'm not the best at explaining stuff. I do my best, but I'm trying to give you the viewpoint that I have on all of this in a broad perspective. So it sounds like Trump and the government are building, multiple parts, right? Trying to help out multiple pieces of this giant puzzle of like AI/chip making. That's what it looks like to me. So when Trilogy Markets ran higher and we started trading lower a little bit, to me, we theoretically should not trade, back below like 4, back below like 3 by the end of the year, or at least by like late November. Right? So the stock basically from here would have to drop like 40, almost 50%. I don't see that happening by the end of the year. So to me, those were just easy put sells rather. I wouldn't short that, but I would be willing to take the other side of that short. You know what I mean? So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Adam, think it's like supply chain almost. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. Imagine you have like a neighborhood, right? This is a big house. This is a house, okay? But like over here, you have the farm with all the cows and shit, right? Farm with all the cows. And then you have like another, let's say, industry like Walmart, for example. So the cows and stuff out there, you know, they're going to produce the milk and whatnot that then goes to Walmart, and then you're going to take your ass to Walmart to go get, you know, the supplies, right? So you're going to have producers, you're going to have consumers, you're going to have like the corporations that are the middlemen, if you will, and even like transportation too. That could be its own thing. So there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to logistics. This is what you saw a lot of back in like 2020 when the lockdowns began. The price of gas just plummeted because in a real world sense, there was real world supply and demand when it comes to oil, because oil production stayed the same. But since everybody was, you know, under the thumb of the government, like it's dystopian 1984, nobody drove anywhere. They didn't need the gas. So because there was a legit amount of supply of gas and the demand for it went lower, that's why prices, you know, shit the bed. Okay. When one of these pieces of the supply chain gets screwed up, and it affects everything else. So what I'm trying to explain to you here is you have the government, right? Uncle Sam. And there are, let's say, the people who mine for the metals and stuff. And then you have like the producers of chips and shit like that. Then, you know, you purchase your computer that you have at the house, right? And it's probably way more complex than this, but what I'm saying is the government is saying, okay, we'll toss some money over here into TMQ. We'll toss some money over here into Intel. We'll toss some money over here into LAC, whatever the fuck they do. And, you know, other companies that I don't have listed. Does that make sense? So they're saying, okay, we'll put some money over here, put some money over here, put some money over here. And so it's the entire macro together is what I think they're trying to help structure and help build and lift. You know what I'm saying? So if they're trying to do that now, and they, you know, have this long-term plan, then I don't know, the next 3 to 5 years could be very interesting for some of these stocks. For TMQ, LAC, and some Intel and some others. I don't know what they're going to do. You know, I'm just trying to give you a visual of what I'm seeing and what I think could happen. I could be wrong. These stocks could go to dirt and then that's it. But this is all uncharted territory. I've never followed stocks that the government has purchased. I've never been here before. But it sounds like they have a plan. Convicted, you're blocked. Good luck to you. Have fun. But as far as plays go, I really don't. Oh, we did take London's high already. Okay. We did that about an hour ago. No, 20 minutes ago. Sorry. I slept in late today. I'm discombobulated. But I'll tell you this too. We are not in uncharted territory or like unfamiliar territory to me, but I will tell you, as much as I talk about, hey, manage risk, like, you know, don't over leverage, don't overtrade in these conditions. This is like the prime don't FAFO. Okay. A lot of people FAFO'd on Friday. A lot of people FAFO'd on Friday. And you saw what happened to the crypto markets. You know, a lot of people got wrecked. Okay. A lot of people got absolutely destroyed. Leverage is a very powerful thing, but powerful goes both ways. It means leverage can do a lot for you, but just like the risk disclaimers say, leverage can do a lot against you as well. So you have to be careful of that. If you've been watching the stock market, if you've been watching the futures market, again, Friday you saw what happened. Now, we did get a somewhat controlled demolition lower, right? They didn't just do it in like a couple of minutes. You know, it was slow and gradual relative to like the day's range. Okay, they dropped it, rallied it, dropped it, rallied it, consolidated, and then just stair-stepped it and fucking railroaded everybody. Everybody, right? And then look what happened this weekend. We, at least for ES, okay, gapped like 80 points higher. This is the type of environment that will not respect your stop loss. It won't. It will not. And in futures, okay, your account can go negative. Thank God that's never happened to me. But it can. So not only would you blow your account, but you would also owe the broker however much you went negative by. So you would be extremely cooked. Bigly. Sold, and instead of taking the short-term lows, it created equal lows and took me out. Next time I'll stay on the charts. Instead of leaving my stop loss and break even, my kids can starve next time I'm trading. Whoa, okay. Let's hope CPS doesn't get a screenshot of that. Moving on. The regular trading hours, okay? The regular trading hours and equities open, that is kind of like the big thing here, right? 66.61, look up here. 66.61 and 3/4 was good dark. Is the low, and then this low is also 66.61 and 3/4. So those are identical, equal lows. And that to me could be a target for today. And right now, as of right now, excuse me, we did take out London's high here. We have traded lower. We have this first imbalance here. Which is that. And on a 5-minute time frame, and then this gap included with that makes the inversion here as well. So what I would have preferred to see is not this. I would have wanted to see maybe the lows lower than that. I would have liked that more, personally. So that's down there. NQ, similar story, but not the same. Not the same. Equities open lows here. We also took out London's high already. And Dow, I really have no idea. If anything, this is much more of a finesse than the others. Because it's like, oh, I'm going to create a bull flag, rip it above those highs, and then destroy everybody the other direction. That's what that looks like. So, in other words, in layman's terms, if I had to pick a side for today, I'd probably be bearish. And you're right, Adam. I did see your chart, or whoever's chart that was. Here's the thing. What I like a lot is that you guys are consistently seeing these things. You know what I mean? And that tells me that you're paying attention. It tells me that you're learning, right? That you're focused. And well, that's why you're here. And it's really great to see, because the less you need my help, the better. You know what I mean? Like, that's the point. That's the entire point. Self-sufficiency, independence. You know, a lot of people don't want that. A lot of people who lead a community want you to keep, you know, the really expensive subscriptions and, you know, to rely on whoever. I don't want that. I want you to be self-sufficient. And the market maker models, as well as the other things that I gave you really over the years, but especially more so last week, right? You're starting to see the opportunities. You remember that? Oh, you remember this? We talked pretty extensively about this on Friday. You remember that? And the whole point of this was to show you not just like the law of the return, of course, which is a wonderful law, and many of the other laws. It's just you're starting to understand that in a model, however long it pans out, this could be a 1 minute, this could be a 5 minute, this could be a daily, that you're understanding every, or should at least be getting this close to understanding every phase of price. So you understand, okay, we should dip here. Okay, we should consolidate here. Okay, we should expand here. So when you know shit, okay, things, rather, I'm trying to work on that cussing. When you know things, right, and you have that expectation going in, you're not going to be caught off guard. Let me ask you guys this. Drop some twos in the chat. If you've ever been in a trade and it was consolidating and you got nervous. Drop some twos if you got nervous. It's not going your direction. It's not really going against you, kinda. And you get happy and you get excited when the market does go your way, and then you start to get nervous when it goes against you. So now you're kind of like emotionally on a roller coaster here, and you don't know what to expect. Man, that's crazy. We got a flood of twos in the chat. And the chat's not even open today. Definitely getting better. Took me 8 years to have a week like last week. Feels surreal. I know I should be more stoic. I get nervous and anxious. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't get nervous or anxious in a trade too. I mean, fuck. When you're trading with some size, yeah. There's still going to be like some level of discomfort, of course. Now, at least I can't speak on everybody, but at least for me, when the trade is deep into profit, if I'm already, you know, at a break even or beyond that, yes, that makes things way easier. It does. But when you understand the phases of price, again, you know when to expect large candles or smaller candles. You know when to expect a retracement or expansion or consolidation. So it shouldn't bother you. Oh, price is consolidating. Well, it should, right? At a certain point. Then it makes triple highs, one each higher than the other, and then rips ass, but I already closed out earlier. Right. Well, that's why there's re-entries, man. There's almost, excuse me. There is almost always a chance for re-entry. Almost every single time. It has nothing to do with revenge and has all to do with opportunity and knowing what the fuck you're doing. So, like, for example's sake, okay? I didn't really want to go over this today again, but I don't have shit else for you, so I guess we can just do that. If you took that number 2 that we've got labeled, which is the low risk short to me. Now, because keep in mind, you might think, well, John, why is this not the low risk buy? Well, it is. But obviously this had to form first before this one. So you don't know that that's there. Okay. If that is your long, market went higher, crossed 50%. So you went break even, and then you got knocked out break even. But then you recognize like, okay, that's a stop run, or a sweep rather, like, oh, that's a sweep. So I'll just wait for a retracement. There's a retracement right there. There's a retracement right here. And there's a retracement right here. So you might have gotten in at a really good position, got out break even. You may re-enter at a higher position, and that's fine. A lot of people don't think so. And a lot of people are fucking retarded. Okay? You're going to tell me that this isn't worth trading when you still have more than half the move to go. That's stupid. That's stupid. So you can re-enter. Yes, it is at a higher price than your original or your break even. But remember that 50% still, that's a discount. So that's fine. Or a little bit later, or a little bit later, or even up here. Okay? Because it's still going to run those highs. It's either going to run the highs or sweep the highs. I don't ever know with a high degree of certainty whether it's going to be a sweep or a run. Matters not, because the highest high and a little bit above that is going to be my target either way. Whether it keeps going or whether it reverses, it doesn't matter, because I'm just trying to hit that. Nice. Just trying to, you know, terminus, right? Hit terminus and then be done. But the point is, all these retracements are opportunities, either for an entry or a re-entry. Okay? Everything does that. Now, this entire move has not panned out. And it is live price. I could be wrong. It may not pan out. Right? But if you shorted above an old high and you're into profit, cool. I'd be break even. Or if you shorted that imbalance and the market went a little bit lower and then you put your stop right here and you got knocked out, well, this retracement higher could be an opportunity to get back in for the short. You get me? So the market is very abundant. Very abundant. The markets do not move in a straight line. If you get knocked out, chances are, I would say 95 times out of 100, you could re-enter. And the only reason I say sometimes you can't, or sometimes you probably won't, is kind of like what you saw on Friday. If the market just takes off and now it's moving fast, you can't get something favorable that you're comfortable with, it's best to just not. But okay, let's do this then. Let's do this. Consider this. Drop a 3 in the chat. Not yet. But drop a 3 in the chat if you took a trade, you went break even, you got hit out break even, and then the market went to your TP after that. Whether you were long, whether you were short, whatever the case. Has that happened to you? Drop a 3. And it didn't really go all that much past your break even. Just enough to knock you out, maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more, and then ran to your TP. And you got frustrated because you're like, this is insane. He said it's worse when it locks you out. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Wow, Naruto, that's crazy. Y'all are just wilding today. What did y'all drink? What did y'all smoke this weekend? Like, why are you guys like this? You know what I mean? Is it me? Like, We're over here talking about letting kids starve. We're talking about sending your Uber is outside after a one night stay. Like, yo, chat, what are we doing? I don't know what you guys did this weekend. Definitely wasn't reading. Definitely wasn't. I don't even know what to say to that. What were we even talking about before you guys went on your tomfoolery? Oh yeah, that's right. If the market had got you out break even and then went your direction. Okay, remember, retracements are an opportunity, and the following candle. Retracements are an opportunity, and the next candle after that is easily an opportunity, or the retracement after that is an opportunity. So yeah, it might not be favorable. I think a lot of people don't do that because it feels like they're going on tilt, or it feels like they're revenge trading. Thank you guys. You guys are angels. Unlike some of you. We got some angels and some demons in here. All of you better go to church on Sunday. All of you. Come next Monday, you guys better be ready. Okay? Ready. Gosh, man. Markets ain't the only thing volatile today and Friday. But do you guys understand my point? Every retracement, if the market is in fact bearish here, every retracement, right, is going to be an opportunity. So in my mind, and again, I could be wrong. So in my mind, immediately we should trade lower, possibly right back into that, and then go lower. Or if we don't do that, if we just rip it, maybe create a short-term high and then rip the high and then go lower. Like that's kind of like what my mind goes to. But if we have if this is our buy side of the curve, then whatever was utilized to go higher should be utilized to go lower. And so right here, we do have down candles at 1120 was utilized to go up. So to me, those down candles should be utilized to go lower. Both of those are breakaways. That's probably interesting. So like I'm not the type of trader who's going to say 5 or 6 moves in advance. I'm not going to do that. But we have some open imbalances here. It would make sense to me. And again, this is purely speculation. Do not trade based off of anything I'm telling you here. But to me, it's like, okay, we may trade lower into that imbalance, see a reaction, and then rip ass. That would make sense. That would make sense. But I'm not always right. Sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes I get it right, but miss time the market. You know what I mean? Like I'm not perfect. So as much as I wish I was, I am not. I felt your glare through my screen. Well, you should. You should. I talk to you guys as if you were sitting right next to me, or if like I was standing over your shoulder and this was you at the computer. I'd be like, yeah, well, look at that and look at this and look at London's high and look at these lows down here and, you know, XYZ, XYZ. Because that's what I would want if I was in a position, you know, that I didn't know what I know today. Because knowing me now, oh man, I would not want to mentor myself today. Because I'd be like, well, what about this? What about that? Is this an inversion? Is that this, that, and a third? Is this an add-on or a re-entry or a fucking, like, man, I'd be so detailed, it would just be annoying. It would be annoying. But most people don't have the courage to ask questions. And even if they did, they don't even know what questions to ask. Most people. Most people don't know how to ask really, really in-depth questions. Surface level, yeah, but not super detailed questions. There's only two ways the market can go. Well, it's technically three, but yes, it can go up, down, or sideways. Where's the class you were gonna give on tax evasion? Jesus. It's like you guys want me to block you, bro. You know how many people I've blocked this year? Probably more this year than in 2023 and 2024 combined. Like, for real. I don't block people on YouTube. I've blocked a few on YouTube, yeah. Like, if you're gonna be like, you know, Dragon Slayer 69 with a fucking anime profile picture, and you're gonna come on here and talk shit, like, okay, yeah, you're if you're too much of a bitch to even show who you really are, then yeah, like, you're out of here, you're gone. I spent a lot of time. I probably blocked around 15 to 20 people the last couple of months over Charlie Kirk, believe it or not. So, and it's not even the fact that I'm a Charlie Kirk fan or anything like that. It's just the things that people said were really disgusting, you know? If you hate white people, bro, like, don't even follow me. You know what I mean? Like, if you're racist towards anybody, just don't even follow me. And I have no business following you. So I just cut it, leave it at that. So, or if you're just annoying and you want to argue, I don't have time for that, bro. I'm about to be 32 years old. I don't have time for this shit. I don't have the time or energy for this shit. Win through actions, never through argument. Okay? My chat, or my inbox rather, it's open, but it's not open for debate. We're not going to sit here and have a debate. I'm not going to argue with you. Well, I think this, I think that. Well, you can think whatever you want. I can show you perfect trades. Can you show me perfect trades? That's what it boils down to. And if you can't, then shut the fuck up. Simple as that. So, you know what I mean? That's it. That's it. No, but obviously, like with you guys, I know you're dicking around. But it's the people who are like actually serious about shit. You know, when it's not that serious. Later on. But anyway, I told you it'd be a short stream, and here we are near the end of our normal streaming time here. Again, that's really all that I have for you. The markets just seem bearish for this PM session across the board. NQ's our strongest index, so I'd be reluctant to short that one, personally. ES is in the middle, as per usual, and it's got the clean lows, which I like more anyway. So I think we cleaned up a little bit of Friday's craziness. I mean, it's not the craziest, but I mean, like, we cleaned up some little bit of inefficiency and took London's high. So smart money efficiency. And like I already told you, it just seems bearish. So we talked a little bit today about market maker models. We talked a little bit about like re-entries, you know, but it would be difficult for a trader to understand if they could re-enter if you don't know where you're at in the phase of price. Does that make sense? Like, for example, a lot of people are going to think that these lows are like this imbalance, that's going to be a long. I don't think so. I don't think so. Because think about it. Anybody who was long from Friday, I didn't long on Friday, but I mean, I guess if you did long into the weekend, you know, you're killing it today. Anybody who's trying to long in here, where are their stops going to go? Sell side liquidity. Equities open low. There's just a pool of liquidity, a fat pool of liquidity here. You know what I mean? It just seems more logical that that's where we're going to go. So if I were in court right now, you know, presenting my case, that's what I'd say. I'd be like, Your Honor, what the fuck? Look at this shit. Look it up here. London's high, taken. Smart money efficiency, bearish. Lows, gap. Come on. Come on, Judge. You know what I mean? I'd be like, this ain't bullish. So that's what I'm gonna leave you with. Y'all be good, be blessed. I will be here again tomorrow on Tuesday the 14th, same time, same place, for the same price. Y'all be good, man. I'll see you tomorrow.